At last, Matt Busby, the maestro of Manchester United, had groomed a team great enough to beat Europe's best. He was king of soccer. His wonderful 11 men were all princes.
I felt for him after the match because immediately the final whistle went and they all charged for him, you know, and he was an old man, he hadn't been well. But afterwards, when things settled down slightly, he I think enjoyed it more than any other person in Man United Football Club. Having said, you know, you say that you were the European champions, you were the best in Europe, if not the best in the world, and I think he enjoyed the experience afterwards more than anybody else. Every dream that he'd ever had, you know, had come true. Maybe not with the players that he would have liked, but nevertheless, it was. That's what I think about Sir Matt Busby and the day.
United have got Benfica on the run now. Sattler, Charlton, a goal! He scored! Charlton has scored! A wonderfully taken goal, and Sattler was the man. Look from our other camera, and there's Charlton making it 1-0. 8 minutes of the second half gone, and that could be the goal.
I'm very, very proud as a Manchester lad to have been involved in it. I'm very proud for what it means to the club, for what it means to the whole city of Manchester. But as far as looking back goes, I look back with pleasure, not with longing. It's something I'm very, very happy with.
I think everybody was. I think everybody knew, you know, particularly for Matt's sake as well, that it was the European Cup and this was going to be his last chance ever of winning it.
I think everybody wanted to win for the boss. I think it was his final more than the players.
It makes me laugh when I read about, you know, fallen idol and fallen superstars when they talk about me, because stuff like that, I mean, that's something they can't take away. It'll always be there.
I always felt it was a part of the history of the club, and it wasn't like something that one would really enjoy actually doing. One felt that it was part of the history, and I was so delighted after the game we won, not because we won, but because if we had lost, it would have been absolutely terrible.
But I did feel that there was an inner feeling, I don't know what it was, but I felt that we were going to win this match and nothing would stop us from winning it.
When you was in the team, it was produce or else. That was the good thing, and I think he was apprentice, but hopefully he come out a tradesman, and that's the mentality the senior players gave you. It was okay, you're a young boy, but you're not in football terms. You're doing a man's job, and it was expected of you. And there was no quarter. That's no quarter given. It was get on with it.
The tension wasn't there. We were just glad we were playing in a European Cup final. It was at Wembley, and you know that was great. So it was just a normal bunch of very happy lads going to play in a final.
Everything was concentrated on the game, so there was no nerves or anything like that. We had to go out and do it, and of course do it for Sir Matt as well.
The boss's instructions were as usual. You know, the boss's instructions were go out and attack, and that was it. And if you can get one, go and get two, and if you can get two, go and get three.
Charlton's the kid. Best Charlton in the middle, so too is Aston. Charlton, another!
So whilst they were all enjoying themselves down in London, I was in hospital in Manchester in pain, suffering pain badly, while they were all having a great time.
A great time indeed. The greatest time the Grand Old Club had ever known. Now, 25 years later, those same players set out once more from Old Trafford to relive the night when Manchester United emerged from the shadow of a savage catastrophe.
Munich airport, and wreckage that tells the story of the dreadful disaster. The house about 300 yards beyond the end of the runway struck by the doomed aircraft. Here, 21 out of the 44 people aboard lost their lives when it crashed. As the news of the disaster became known, Britain was appalled. Among the fatalities were 7 members of the famous Manchester United team. Only the day before, they'd met Red Star in Belgrade in their European Cup tie. United had been quick to take the lead. This was through a goal by Dennis Violet, one of those injured in the crash. In the first half, the British team were making rings round the Yugoslavs, and they scored their second thanks to Bobby Charlton, another of the injured. This is how all would like to remember the boys of this great team playing typically fine football. Football grounds throughout the country flew flags at half-mast, and football fans wore tokens of mourning. Players, black armbands, tributes to the men of Manchester, sports writers, and all who died.
I'd been playing in Europe for a long time, more than anyone else in the club at the time. Pre-Munich, before the crash, of course, and so I had something else to play for. You know, those boys who died in the crash, I had felt the responsibility, and I really felt that responsibility. It wasn't bull, you know. I really felt that we should win this, and this was our only chance, you know. And to be given this opportunity, you know, to win, to get through, beat Madrid in Madrid, and to get to the final in Wembley, I felt that this is it. This is, you know, God's been good to us, you know. And yes, I felt a lot of responsibility.
I think that before the accident, we were just Manchester United, a team from Manchester, no great affiliation to the rest of the country. But I think with after the accident, the club meant something really to everybody in the country.
The headlines called them the Busby Babes. It was a trite label, and Matt Busby detested it. For the team of Duncan Edwards, Roger Byrne, Tommy Taylor and the rest was a side of capable, gifted young men, and at the final reckoning, 8 of them perished at Munich.
They were all friends of mine, and I can see them now. I see it every day. I never forget their names or their faces. They're clear. In fact, they get clearer every day. You know, no. I don't think there's nothing sad or morose about it now. You know, it's just great that we sort of did justice to their memory.
The feeling we had was obviously we wanted to win it for the boss. As you go back to obviously with the Munich lads, the tragedy and everything, and I don't think we'd be telling the truth. That was paramount. We wanted to win it for the boss.
I didn't realise how close it was to the Munich events and so on. And as I look back, I wasn't apprehensive. I have to admit that. I think people like Bobby and Shea were apprehensive. I think I was lucky. I think, in fact, all 11 of us were lucky to be the 11 players to represent Manchester United, not just for ourselves and for the club, but for players that had gone before, for the management, and for the people who did so much work at the club.
When you think that Sir Matt had been in an air crash only 10 years before, where they had lost half of the team, and that was 10 years later on, he'd won the tournament, which he'd always set his heart on. It was the most magnificent night for the fans, for Manchester United, and also, of course, for Sir Matt.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen him nervous, but he was a little bit, you know, and obviously very emotional for him. I mean, it was a special occasion, and I would think before, during, and after the game, his mind was probably wandering back to, you know, the lads that had nearly done it for him.
United had taken the first steps to Wembley with comfort and style. Hibernians of Malta were overwhelmed by 4 goals at Old Trafford, where the tie was effectively decided. The second round was much tighter, but after a goalless draw in Sarajevo, they moved on to a narrow and slightly nervous success at home. The quarter-final against Górnik of Poland was even closer, but their 2-goal lead from the first leg ensured their survival. The real test was now at hand.
Manchester United versus Real Madrid. 2 of the most successful and highly respected teams in the football world today, meeting in the first leg of the European Cup semi-final. Manchester United, the English League champions, the mighty Real Madrid, already champions of Spain this season, and 6 times winners of the European Cup. The ground at Old Trafford packed, with a capacity crowd of 63,500 people.
15-2, 2-4, 6.
Yes, a good 6, that.
It's a very good 6, 78.
We're all right, Alec, here. Champions are going out.
This is so depressing. So depressing.
Sad at the crowd. Perez to Piri. Styles. Best to Kidd. Couldn't think that was my best. There's Aston. Again the cue at the far post for the cross if he can get it back. Ran well for him. Best.
This is where I landed in my career, making coffee for that lot.
United were without their joker for the second leg. A knee injury had claimed Dennis Law when he was most desperately needed.
And he says, it clears the windpipe so that so that you can breathe more easily. I'll tell you, for 20 years I used to take a sherry before a match, and then somebody said...
George Best's goal had given them a fragile advantage, but they had also lost David Hurd with a broken leg. And now they faced Real in Madrid, in their own Bernabeu Stadium.
First half we got slaughtered. I mean, they played great. We got the fact that we were only 3-1 down was a bonus. The goal that we got was an incredible OG anyway.
No one said a word at half time. They just sat there. That's it. Even Samat never said a thing. And then the whistle went for us to go out, and we sort of got up. All of a sudden he said, "Whoa."
Now remember, you're only a goal behind. And all of a sudden, that gave you that little bit of hope. It lifted you. But his timing was superb.
I hadn't thought of that going in, but when he said it, that was the one, I would think, that gave us the little lift that we needed, just those few words.
We'd been hammered, well and truly, and we really survived just about in touch with them. Obviously 3-2, of course we were in touch. And, you know, that's what he was saying. As bad as we sort of played, really, and as well as they played, the score in the tie was still 3-2.
We'd all forgot about the goal that George had scored at Old Trafford. And I think that really put something into us.
We came out second half, obviously nothing to lose, and then I can't even remember what part of the second half it was, but you know, George went up for something, and the keeper went with him, committed himself, and the ball came over, and it sort of came towards me, and I stuck out something, and I sort of carried on, and it sort of touched me really, all right, and I didn't really know where it had gone. And I sort of carried on around the side of the goal, and I don't know, there was 135, 140,000 people there, and it was as if they'd all stopped talking at once. It was like silence, and I thought, you know, what's happened here? You know, there's something happened, I'm not... And of course the ball was in the back of the net.
When David scored that goal, it was a period in the game when a lull happened. For the first time, Madrid had dropped back. I mean, they gave us a pounding in the first half, you know, and I thought they'd do the same in the second, and we could possibly lose 5 or 6 goals, you know. But I think they made a tactical mistake, or they decided that was enough, and they gave us a little bit of space in which to start playing and coming out of defence. Instead of being pressed, we would start to get a bit of space to play. And George, for the first time, came into the match. And Pat Creren had a throw-in on the right, I remember saying, and no one seemed to want to move, you know. Anyway, he managed to get the ball to George, and George turned, he managed to turn, beat 2 or 3 players, left them in his wake and was away, you know. And he seemed to have no support at all, you know. So I jogged from the back, you know. And I can remember Nobby shouting, the thing, and it still stays in my mind. Nobby shouting, "Where the hell do you think you're going?" You know, and shouted, you know. little bit more choice language than that. But I went. Of course, I was about 25 yards. Once I got 25 yards out to Nobby's range, that was it. He wouldn't see me. I don't think he ever knew what I'd gone.
Well, Bill was a centre half in the stopper mould, and probably nobody finer in the game.
And it was quite fun. I remember when we scored the equaliser to make it 3, Billy Phillips, who appeared God knows where from.
I was in the box, waiting to see if he did cross it. I was in position, but nobody else was in there. And he looked in his usual way. George looked up after me. He looked up, and he had a second look as if he couldn't believe it. You know, he just sort of looked up again. You know? And he gave me, feinted to drive it into the near post. And the goalkeeper went, the centre back went, and pulled a most beautiful pass for me, just inside, and it left me an easy shot just into the far post, which I did side-footed into the far post. It was incredible. It was the highlight of my career.
I'd watched Bill Foulkes from sort of early days, and I'd never seen him do anything like that at all. And everybody, when he got near the halfway line, always screamed for him to get back, because he wasn't regarded as the most skillful, fluid player. But he went on, and it must have been a sixth sense. I somehow think that really that run, that competition, I'm sure somewhere fate was smiling as well.
It was a match that we felt was fated to be ours. After we had the little bit of luck against Real Madrid in the semi-final, I thought, well, we won it now, because I thought somebody's looking after us here.
The lad said, well, let's just play out the last 10 minutes and play for a draw, because I thought if we'd have kept going then we would have probably won the match in Madrid.
I then remember feeling a great deal of pressure, because when you get close to winning something, you then get frightened of losing it.
That fear was gloriously unfounded. As Busby came scrambling from the dugout to greet his players, the great man yielded to the emotions of the evening. There was joy, there was relief, and there were tears. Above all, there was a powerful conviction that Matt Busby's United were moving towards their destiny.
Somehow, when they reached the semi-final against Real Madrid, it was as if it was a round too soon. You know, that was the final, that should have been the final. And Real Madrid had always had the better of the previous games. And although I admired that team, I really thought, you know, this could be it, particularly after that first leg. But they pulled something special out because they were a special team.
When he actually joined Manchester United, it was
25 years later, they retraced their steps.
Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Cameraman, please. Get in. Get that in. What a sight. Mine looks small. Actually, the reason I've got a big nose is it's not I've got a big nose, I've got a small face. Oh, you're sitting there. I'll tell you what, they just picked. No shock result over here.
There are the jokes, the cracks, the card games that footballers play. But the result which made their reunion possible was delivered on that night in Madrid. United's journey was nearing its close, and Benfica, the champions of Portugal, lay waiting at the end of the road.
Charlton leading Manchester United, and the wonderful old veteran Coluna leading Benfica. There's Bobby Charlton. Brian Kidd, and a happy 19th birthday to him. Shea Brennan, and there is Matt Busby, and how most people in this stadium, and I'm sure in the television audience, are praying for him at this moment. And John Aston, his proud father, is here to watch him today. And Alex Stepney played his first international here last week. Pat Guerin. That is Tony Dunn. Bill Foulkes, who's played in every European Cup campaign for Manchester United, the only player to have done so.
So Matt Busby, 829 on the 8th floor.
Is there a curfew, boss?
What's a curfew?
Are we allowed out tonight?
Mr. Charlton. 825 on the 8th floor.
In the hotel lobby, the prodigal son has been pacing for 3 hours. For once, United have kept George Best waiting. Now the team is complete.
What number is that, sweetheart? 825.
826.
Mr. Dunn, Mr. Brennan, 814. Mr. Dunn, 827.
Hi, Bill. Oh, George. I'm fine, thank you. You?
How are you, George?
PC, yeah, mate. 3 hours. Well, she sat for 3 hours and she.
What time did you get here?
We got here at 4 o'clock.
We left off after 1:30.
Did you stop?
Last as usual, lads. But as I say, the girl said, you always leave the best to last. Don't say that to best, of course. Who turned up? Amazement. Actually turned up. Be careful what you say.
Hang on. Gotta get the. Top man. Excuse me, can you put a shandy on this man's? Put it on my boat.
Yeah, thanks, appreciate that.
The memories come crowding in as these middle-aged men revisit their past. The talk chatters on through the afternoon and early evening, and the laughter and stories continue as United sit down to dine.
Okay. Look at that Italian memory. So when I was there, I don't know, was that?
That's the same story with Paddy when we're in Budapest. Right, there's no bloody butter here. Oh, it's all right, I'll get you some butter. Paddy stood up in the middle of the game. Would you like some butter, sir?
He used to wear them. He was a pilot. German pilot.
Although the side was sprinkled with some of the most famous faces in football, these players retained the common bond of men who had served the same apprenticeship. For this United team represented the ultimate tribute to Matt Busby's managerial genius.
The Jersey Army. He's telling us off. We've got us all bedroom is like this. Stress like playing football. They were just like them.
Now you always talk about making the goal.
I've never seen it. Actually, he's never seen the game.
While other managers would flourish their checkbooks, Busby discovered his own men and moulded them in his own ways. 7 of the team which played at Wembley had come through the Old Trafford ranks. Only 4 were signed from outside. Crarren from Celtic, Stepney from Chelsea, Dunn from Shelbourne in Dublin, and Sadler from Maidstone. The total cost was £113,750. And for that smattering of small change, Matt Busby created a team with the style and the spirit to conquer Europe.
I just think any team can sit down and have 4 players like George, Dennis and Bobby and Shane. Oh, sorry.
I hear that. Did I know Georgie best?
Did I play with George West? He played with me.
The camera's at you.
Oh, I think do 4 hours.
I really struggled.
That's right. That's right.
Then I struggled a lot with Poles, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Manchester United have stripped now down to the all-loose strip, and we're sure that Sadler's going to go back to help folks handle Torres, but all eyes will be on number 6, Nobby Stiles, surely the man who's played 3 times against Eusebio and beat them on each occasion.
And obviously I had special, detail of looking after Eusebio. But actually we shared it between David Sadler and myself, that if he went very deep, David would take him, so I wouldn't be drawn out of position to cover. And if he came into my zone, then it was me that took him up, which, it was always a great challenge to play against him.
Number 7. One man who just needs no identification, George Best.
I think we all thought we were destined to be the first English side to win it, and looking back, probably overconfident, because for the 90 minutes we didn't really play too well.
Pat Guerrand, a lot of people say he's one pace player, but he's an immaculate passer of the ball.
I remember Mario Clinic, he was the playmaker, and it's a strange situation. I remember very early on in the first half he had gone for a ball with me, and I'd put the sole of my boot down, and he kicked the sole of my boot, and he never really was running at the same, and it was accidental, believe me, and he was never really running at the same pace after that. And if you were playing it in the continent, that would be a free kick against you, but the referee didn't give anything, and the fellow didn't really play much after that, and he was the outstanding player. Never mind Eusebio, he was their best player, Colino.
Dunn and Kaluna again. Number 11 Aston. It goes Kidd, and Sadler.
Jack in that room with his key. Bloody get a pair of boots. As long as you got the damn be found another 2 years.
They are, and Guerrand against finds Best. Guerrand is on the right wing. Oh, Aston, he's got teeing it up for Kidd. Sadler finding Kidd. Oh, great ball to Sadler, must score. Oh, Sadler, what a miss. Oh, David Sadler. Goalkeeper credit, he's starting to move out, and Sadler made the mistake of shooting hurriedly. Matt Busby must be wondering whether that wasn't an important one, went away. We haven't seen the fast-flowing open football we expected, I think because the defences of both teams know that if you start giving scope to players of the class of Eusebio and Best and Charlton, then my goodness, you're just asking for trouble. So everybody is being marked almost out of sight.
Seems a long way from one end to the other, doesn't it?
Seems bigger than
Just saying that, it seems a long way from the centre of the end, doesn't it?
It is, it's a big pitch, isn't it?
Something about everybody says about leaving here and that. It's the weekend there, the cup finals and that.
Oh, it's still the place.
Yeah.
11, I should have said 11, and you couldn't have gone one more. Unbelievable, that, I thought.
Yeah? Is this with the American football? Well, I don't know. I think it's with everything. It's with pop concerts and I think the American football, maybe, yeah. Well, I think that, unless there's anything out of the pub. And that was the only one that scored in the centre.
You flicked, well, you didn't flick it, you swept it in that end, wasn't it?
The three in extra time.
Brian Kidd scored one off the crossbar and headed it in.
It was a clinic cast. collector's item now, showing a young lad the wing play of his.
It's a great night, Brian.
I must have enjoyed it, though.
All I can remember was Johnny Aston hitting the ball past the fullback and running.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Brilliant.
He was the best player in the pitch.
And I mean,
John was great. Yeah.
His timing, when it went to strike, the fullback must have thought he was having a nightmare.
Well, he was. He couldn't do anything about it, though.
In fact, there was once in the second half, two of them came. He must have thought, you'll have to come and help me here. And two of them came. And he knocked it past two of them. I won't remember.
Well, it's nice to see everybody, you know, all the old faces again.
And they are old now.
Yeah. Oh, are you? There's only me and you, not changed, eh?
A few things different. Certainly the pitch. Not half as good, is it?
I was laughing.
Remember when you whacked Eusebio for about the 100th time?
No, I never touched Eusebio. He said I was a sportsman. I've been speaking to him.
He wasn't a sportsman himself, was he?
Who?
Eusebio.
I thought he was a gentleman. And this is
You're a liar. You're a liar.
No,
I'm saying that in front of the cameras.
No. We were the last ones to play. There's the Ulster Year show on it.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember that?
Sacrifice run. Have you heard that now? Oh, that's a new term. I've never heard of it.
What, see when the coaches hear that sacrifice.
No, it's in now, that. Have you ever heard of it?
No, sacrifice run.
Well, that was you, Shay, 25 years ahead of your time.
What's that dummy run?
Was that a sacrificial run? No, George.
A dummy.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Boss wants to go.
Well, the boss wants to go. We've got to go. We've got to go.
Let's see you, boys. All right. The boss says we've got to go, lads.
So Busby and Best walked from the pitch where their history was made on a fine spring evening, a quarter of a century ago.
As Benfica start the second half. No score. Now Best. Well, you don't have to speak English or Portuguese to understand what Best was trying to say to Cruz. Best to take the free kick. To say Augusto. Well, that was a good shoulder charge by Creran. Aston. Well, he's doing what he did in the first half. That's a beauty. Well, Aston caused a lot of trouble in the first half with that sort of run and centre. Then they stopped giving him the ball, but Johnny Aston has shown that he's got the beating of Adolfo. Charlton, a good ball to Dunn. Now what Aston will do to this Adolfo. First he's got to face Grata. Fantastic running. Oh, well done. Aston is the man of the match for Manchester United. I don't know what was going through that mind of Matt Busby. And sitting on Matt Busby's left is John Aston, who's the father of Manchester United's number 11. Well, a mighty proud man he must be tonight. Here's Best. Charlton on his left. And Creran breaking on the right.
You're joking.
So George goes to the left.
Breaking on the right.
Well, Best actually broke a wee bit quicker.
Well, this is Manchester United all right now. They're playing with tremendous heart and vigour. They just want to be a little cooler in their finishing.
Almost no confidence at all in the rest of his defenders. United have got Benfica on the run now. Sadler.
Boys are back in time.
That's what he ever scored.
Wonderfully taken goal, and Sadler was the man. Look from our other camera, and there's Charlton making it 1-0. 8 minutes of the second half gone, and that could be the goal that Walter Winterbottom said could stop the flood. Bobby Charlton's first in the European Cup this season.
This has been very good. Manchester United have been opening it up extremely well, and now they're in the lead. So here we go for a real resounding win for the United.
So now Benfica cannot stay back in defence and bide their time as they have been doing. Best offside.
Oh, it's
No, it's no goal, Georgie. I have a feeling he knew it wasn't a goal, but it's all good practice. Well, they're not going to be moved, but it's a free kick for Benfica. Cruz going to take it. Aston. Oh, what a game he's had, the best. And Sadler breaking. This is Sadler. He's got Crerand on his right. Oh, the run up.
Good, isn't it?
Well, very good. Very entertaining anyway.
We win as well.
I hope so. He was there.
Manchester United really bubbling now. Oh, what a bad mistake, and here's Best. And what a save by Enrique. And the Benfica defense creaking ominously. Coluna to Grasa. Simoes. Torres. And again it's done. He spots the danger almost before it comes. Now Kidd, he's got to take an awful lot on himself at the moment. Crerand piling up to get into the penalty area.
Go on, Brian Chenham.
That was a silly foul to give because Kidd had nobody there to help him. So now we get the free kick teed up at Charlton. Now, number 4 is Crerand. Torres is back as a fullback. Charlton. And that one ran away from Kidd. Best. Oh, this is real Best wizardry. And surely, oh, what a save by Enrique from Sadler. But how wide open the Benfica defense was. The fans will talk about that for a long, long time. Bill Fox beating Torres in the air now. Oh, Bill Fox has probably gained 3 or 4 inches since Bobby Charlton scored. Coluna, Eusebio! Now then, that should serve as a very great warning to Manchester United. So, a quarter of an hour to go then. Best turn into that one was caught by Coluna. And Bobby Charlton understands that when a player turns quickly, it's almost impossible not to catch him like that. Mr. Lobello has decided that Best is not as injured as he's trying to kid as he is. Let's hope he's right. But you see, Best is playing with his stockings rolled down. These fellas will play without shin pads, so the slightest crack on the shins is terribly painful. Cruz into Jose Augusto. Simoes now moved on to the right. Eusebio to Coluna. Two skippers opposing each other. That's a good ball to Torres. He's not getting up to them well against Fox. Styles have made ground to get that pass. Now Sadler to Charlton, and Stiles has gone right up into the attack. It's a wave of Manchester players. And Charlton brought down just an inch or two outside that penalty area.
How Bobby Charlton is working. He really is trying everything he's got in him. Every ounce running forward, helping his players.
He's perfectly right. One of the greatest brains in soccer, you talk.
Charlton. Torres going back to reinforce the defence. I think Charlton was hurt a little when he was brought down. He had a bit of the wind knocked out of him. So what a wonderful player he is. What a wonderful captain he's making. This is Simoes. Torres getting it back to Jose Augusto, who's dropped back into midfield now with Grasa going forward. Kaluna. Now, Simoes, it's in play, yes, Simoes. Oh, he's taken it too far. Simoes, a World Cup player, one of the many internationals in this Benfica team. The complete Portugal side comes from Benfica or Sporting Club Portugal.
It wasn't my fault, I was nowhere near there. It wasn't my fault.
And from our other camera, now we see this goal again. Watch Grasa coming in.
Put that ball. Yeah. 9 times out of 10 it goes in the opposite side. 9 times out of 10.
From the end. Charlton to Craren. With handball. Not given because United were in possession, they had the advantage. Oh, best, a beautiful pass to Craren. And that was a foul by Cruz. He went right through over the ball on Craren. And Pat Craren's got to be really hurt before he goes down. Free kick. Craren, fist, ooh! Number 5 is Cruz, and Kaluna, running like a youngster, this fella. Torres, and the first time we have seen the towering Torres, the 6'4" Torres, really use his height. Eusebio. Torres. Eusebio. Oh, this could spell danger. And good goalkeeping by Stepney. Coming out as he did, a few yards. Still, it's still 1 each. And there's still time, and his best to Craren, who's filling this space on the right so often and so well. Now Charlton. Oh, and the Benfica players knew all about that lethal right boot. Simoes. Benfica are marked in the middle. This is Eusebio. Oh, what a save by Stepney. And what a sportsman Eusebio, when he could have won that match, to applaud Stepney like that.
And I had to make a decision whether to go and attack Simoes when he was coming down the middle and release it or hold. I made the decision and he's released it, and obviously Eusebio has gone right through. It was just one of those things. But talking to Eusebio later, he was very tired. And you don't realise that. I mean, when Wembley slaps you. And years later, as I say, talking to him, he said that when he got there, he was very tired. And he just concentrated on trying to strike it.
Had it been Jimmy Greaves, then United would not have won the European Cup. Because Greaves would have come down and, hey, take that. But I could see the Eusebio thought, there's glory written all over the front page of the paper, you know, I'm going to really smash this. And really what he should have done, he should have placed it. I mean, I don't think Steppers knew anything about it. I think he hit him in the chest, if I remember.
They came off my line, realising that, thinking it's going to be a 50-50 chance, but on the Wembley turf, the ball slowed up. I realised when I got to my 6 yard that he's going to get there first. He's going to chip me. I stopped. but Eusebio didn't want to score goals like that. He just nudged it forward, which give me the impetus to sort of stand up to him. He hit this shot, which basically came at me, but I held it. And obviously at the time I didn't realise the importance, but my main thing was to get rid of the ball and let's counter-attack because there's only 2 or 3 minutes left of the European Cup final. And then he came up and spoke to me in Portuguese with an accolade, I presume.
Well, at the time, I've got to be quite honest and say that I'd never expected anything else. I know it was a situation which would really have favoured the striker, but I've seen Stepney do it in lesser games so many times in that kind of situations quite successfully that it was just par for the course. I expected Alex Stepney to make that save, and he did.
Manchester United. Bobby Charlton, who's played so magnificently. Tremendous general. Well, he remembers the extra time in the World Cup final.
To win something with the lads that you play with every day and they train with every day is a different feeling altogether. And I find it very difficult to compare them. And I've never ever once said that the World Cup was more important. I never felt that. I think that it was a national thing by the time Man United got to the final of the European Cup. I wouldn't like to separate them, and I wouldn't like to have had a football career without either of them.
66 was absolutely brilliant. It was tremendous, you know, being an Englishman that day. But 68 was equally so because I was a Manchester boy raised up on him. Watched all the great stars when I was a kid. And I think for Brian Kidd and myself, it was especially emotional because, as I say, local kids, and to go and do it, and for Sir Matt, it was great. It was all the ambitions, what we wanted to do, and how great, as I say, Duncan Edwards, Eddie Coleman, my particular idol. It was great, and those were the memories as well.
And so, as we start extra time, Charlton scored for Manchester United 53 minutes, Grasa for Benfica 11 minutes from the end. We now are going to the first period of 15 minutes. The second time in the history of the European Cup that there has been extra time. Torres. The first time was in 1958 when Real Madrid beat Milan 3-2 at Brussels after extra time. Traitor and Manchester United again trying to use this long one. Kidd doing the worrying there. Almost getting the corner. Where is Charlton got his stockings rolled down? And there he is. So a lot of players have. Aston. Benfica keeping Grasa, number 6 up front. Here's Aston. Oh, he's got Adolfo really beaten, young John Aston. Best going to take the corner. Fouts has gone up into the penalty area. And listen to this Manchester contingent. 30,000 great fans. Shouldn't imagine that anyone would want to run about overmuch now there's extra time. Sensible play with
This is it, watch the ball there. Oh, yes, yes. Well done, Bob.
Yeah, I think this is it. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
All the others are congratulating Shea, you know.
And Biff snapping up that mistake. Look at it from our other angle camera. Oh! 93 minutes. And the crowd not caring two hoots whether it was a defensive mistake that led him through, but he took his chance magnificently.
The bomber, Shea, still thinks he made it for me. He pushed the ball to Alex and he cleared it. And I think I think Dave Sadler flicked it on, and there was only one defender, and he came in, and I think he tried to do me, and I stuck it through his legs. And once I did that, I was clear, and I made my mind up that I was going to take it past the keeper. And I'd actually decided if I got past the keeper, I was going to take it to the line and stop it and head it in on the goal line. But the silly bugger, the keeper, he got up too quickly and got back too quick, so I just knocked it in. And I can still see him diving and trying to keep it out. I mean, it was right in the back of the net. And I realised then how tired I was because Paddy Crane caught me. And Paddy never caught anybody, so for him to catch me, I realised the extra time that we were all a little bit tired.
Musenio screaming at his defence, which was really caught with its trousers down. Now Kaluna. Now can Benfica raise their game a second time? It's a tremendous thing to ask of them. Charlton to Aston. Oh, and he's got the legs of Adolfo. And a corner. Oh, what a match Johnny Aston is having.
Terrific game.
So the crowd really giving Benfica the stick now as they get right behind Manchester United. And
Okay, yes.
Right, and let's have a look at Kidd getting up to that one from behind the goal. And the second attempt, but it counts.
90.
I thought we should have put the first header in. Do the goalkeeper.
It looks as if they're going to tear Wembley apart tonight. What a fantastic turnaround. It looks as if the long journey of Manchester United is over. 3-1 the lead. Up goes Torres, but as he goes past, he's now 10 feet tall against him.
John Aston's never seen this before. He's never seen this video, he says, before.
Yeah, I'm going to ask for a rise, Aston.
Kidd in the middle. And hit the bar. Minutes of extra time have gone. 3-1, Manchester United in the lead. Grasa. This is Suez. Manchester United turning on their heat now as they did at the opening of the second half. Styles. Preren, number 4. And how do you like to play for Benfica in face of a crowd like this? Well, the crowd have really decided that.
Made another one. Thanks, yeah. Hey? Made another one.
20 years I've been over there.
99 minutes. And Bobby Charlton has done it. What a sensational 8 minutes. He began the move, and there's the Charlton shot on our remote camera. Brilliant effort. What football this is by United. Well, Matt Busby, he probably allows himself a smile now. He's gone on the feet with Johnny Aston, Matt Busby looking to his right. And Jimmy Murphy next to Matt Busby, just sitting there as if nothing had happened. Half time of extra time. And Tony Dunn having to have the attention.
Well, the crowd are getting ready for a fiesta. Nothing could stop Manchester United now from winning this game.
With only a bit seconds left, both linesmen have given the signal that it's all over. We don't even look at Georgie Best, we look at the referee. Is it all over? No. Yes, it is. It's all over. Manchester United have done it. And there is Bobby Charlton, and where is the man everyone thinks of? Matt Busby. And a tremendous moment for this great man. And Will Franklin is applauding him as he comes out on the pitch. Jackie Crompton, the trainer, and here comes the man that they would have for Prime Minister, President and everything. And Matt Busby going first to Benfica. What a tremendous thing to do, to go straight to Benfica and now to his own club. And to Bobby Charlton, the two great men, and to Brian Kidd, who must be moved on his birthday.
And I watched the game on the television with some of my friends who came in about 6 o'clock. I think the kickoff was about 8 o'clock at night. They came in about 6 o'clock and brought a crate of McEwens in, so we had a couple of shandies while we were watching the game. Actually, I can't really remember a great deal about the extra time, but I believe one of the sisters told me that United had won 4-1.
How they cheered as Bobby Charlton led his men up to receive the handsome outsized trophy. Mr. BENFICA, President of the European Union of Football Associations, handed it over. This victory didn't belong only to Manchester United supporters. This was a win for Great Britain. What a match, what a team. Charlton, Stepney, Brennan, Dunn, Creran, Fuchs, Styles, Best, Kidd, Sadler and Aston. And pride of place, Busby. 11 names that together spell greatness.